This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
What is up, 24/7 Buff Fandemonium? It is your bearded brother, Swank, here on a Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the K-Gun Report. We have a very special show. We have Mr. Dean Kindig helping us out, going through the mock draft. We're doing 7 rounds, picking all Buffalo Bills. He is a draft training camp beat writer for the one and only BuffFanBase, which we are a proud partner of. Also, sponsored by 24 or 26 shirts. So we're going to have a good time tonight, crack a cold one, and we'll hit this intro and get back at it. Here we are, 24/7 Buff Fandemonium. Thanks so much for sharing your Tuesday night with us. I am Swank, as previously stated. Down here, right below me, is Mr. Dean Kindig. How is it going tonight, sir?
Doing great. Only 72 more hours, right?
72 more hours, and then that Jonesing's over. Finally figure it out. Right up top here, we got my brother from another mother, Mr. Scooter Magooter. What's up, Scott?
What's up, Bills Mafia? That includes 24/7 Buff Fandemonium, FLX Mafia, Buff Fanbase. Welcome, everyone. This is a fun show. We're going to do a 7-round mock draft of our Buffalo Bills. And I tell you what, I was telling Dean earlier, if we don't get this 100% right, we'll just work on it and do it better next year. But
there you go.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's all you can do, man. That's all you can do. Want to run through some news. Our boy, Mr. Big Boot Babyface Tyler Bass, signed himself a nice extension. Glad to have one of the leading scorers in the NFL on our side for a couple more years. And you can't get, special teams, man. It takes all phases, right? So big up to our Mr. Tyler Bass with the big boot.
I mean, he's playing through the 2027 season, Swank. So we've got him for quite a while. And it's a guy that's established himself to be able to play in the weather. He can handle the Mafia crowd, even I know they get quiet for the kick, but he can handle it all. He's proven it. He deserves this. You lock up that stuff. This is the stuff you lock up for years to come, and the Buffalo Bills did it. They did it in great fashion. He deserves the money. He's got that guaranteed. Welcome back, Tyler Bass.
I love it. It's something that you don't have to worry about, right? And that is my whole Bills mindset. I just don't want to worry about that side of the ball, We got Patrick Hughes. What's up, brother? We got Joey Hatch Jr., how you doing? We got Josh
guys.
Cook. What's up, buddy? We got Mr. Rob Mullen, our resident expert. Go on over to 247buffandemonium.com and see all those great blogs that he's writing out there, along with Ryan Thomas. We got Lonnie Cook. How's it going, Lonnie? Mike V. We got Josh Collins. What's up, Josh? Saying what's up, Mafia.
What's up,
Frank
guys?
Mullen. We got Jarrod Reed. Jared couldn't make it tonight. He had a previous engagement with his kiddies, so he's hanging out in the comments tonight. What's up, Jerry? We got Harriet. How's it going, Harriet?
Harriet.
She said Astro, so you're an Astro fan too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. You can also follow Dean at TCBills_Astro on Twitter, and I suggest that you do. He's full of all sorts of great tweets and information.
Well, it's one of those situations. Once you think you know a lot about the draft and the player personnel and who you think should go to Buffalo and anywhere else, then you look at what Dean does, and it's like he puts a whole new perspective to visits, and he's got the 40 times and how, player rankings and pass blocking, run blocking. Dean, it's crazy what you do, and we're excited to get this thing started. See if we can get any of these picks right.
Well, I'm going to try to convince you guys to take the guys that have been visited the most. So I'll keep you honest there.
Absolutely. We got Dr. Bruce. Go Bills. 48 hours to go. Yes, sir, Dr. Bruce. Yes, sir. Nice to have you back. Once again, thanks everybody for tuning in and hanging out. The only other bit of news that I was really concerned about, and Scott, you can weigh in on anything else. Aaron Rodgers, that big trade that happened between the Green Bay Packers finally and the New Jersey Jets. Both sides saying the other side paid too much, didn't do enough, whatever. I have my opinions about it. Scott, what do you have to say about it?
I can't wait to see how training camp's going to look, because Aaron Rodgers has got the spot. You don't bring that guy in. Jets got stuck with all the guaranteed money. And I know there's millions and millions of dollars that need to be paid off to him for the next 3 to 4 years. Zach Wilson, he already said, well, I'm going to make his life hell in training camp. No, you're not. No, you're not, man. What I'm getting out of this, Swank, is I'm thinking, and we're going to talk about this for the draft show coming up Thursday at 7:00 p.m. Guys, join us. What I'm thinking is that this Rodgers pickup, they're gonna trade away, maybe during the draft, who knows? They're gonna trade away Zach Wilson, because you don't bring someone in like that to now sit behind Aaron Rodgers. They're gonna get draft capital for him, I do believe, and it's gonna be a funny situation over there because he's getting old. His numbers are dropping, and they're paying him a shitload of money. Pardon my language.
I'm gonna tell you, man. I don't know what they would get for Zach Wilson. I don't think it would be a whole lot. You think a third rounder, really?
After the first round pick, I think he's worth maybe a third. If people still have faith in him and think that he can produce in their system, third.
I want to meet those people, man. I don't know if I want to spend a
They're
third
out
round
there. They're out there.
I'm sure, man. They probably all work for the Browns. I understand. Yeah. I think the thing that I found interesting about it, and the cap aerobics, right? Like the gymnastics that they play, the things that they do, they restructured his income this year into a huge signing bonus, which to me, I always thought hit this year's cap, right? Or whatever. Like it was like that money's gone. But really, the way that works is it's distributed through their whole contract. So it's evenly distributed against the cap for the whole length of his contract, right? Mm-hmm. So really, he's getting paid $15 million to play this year on paper. His signing bonus was ridiculous, but I don't know, it was like $40 million or something. But then for the remainder of his contract, that's getting split up evenly. So once you get into some of these like void year contracts and stuff, and you're like, why do people sign these old guys to 10-year contracts and then the last 5 years are void? It's all because those void years actually count for when you're shipping that big chunk of money down the road. And I was listening to it on the radio today, and they were kind of explaining it, and Pat McAfee was talking about it too, and it just like blew my mind that you could even have Aaron Rodgers on your team and think that he was actually going to dig you out of some kind of like slump. I actually think that they were better before they got Rodgers, is my feeling. I think they could have drafted a young quarterback and really gone the distance and give us a run for our money. And to me, I think the Dolphins are still ahead of them going into this season, but that's one man's opinion. I couldn't two men. All right, I like it. We're going three, Scott. You going three men?
I'll go three. I'll go three. I will.
I just think it's fascinating that they want to dump this money on it. And I know it's New York, and I know all the lights and all that stuff that matters down there. To me, if I was New Jersey, I would have been making a play for Lamar. I think, Carr probably could have had a better outcome up there for the next couple years and really transitioned you into like that guy that you were looking for, that franchise quarterback in the draft that you wanted. He probably could have done a better job bridging the gap as opposed to a dude that was 90% retired before he decided that Green Bay was trying to slate him by getting rid of him. So I don't know. But Dean, do you have any opinion about that?
Yeah.
No, I think this is going to set the New York Jets back a couple of years. I think this is going to be a flash in the pan. I'd be very surprised if Rodgers is even able to finish out the season. Anybody that's done a lot of gardening, for instance, knows that you really feel it the next day. Well, the older you get, the more you feel it the next day. And I think at some point, unless they do really, really well quickly, he's going to have a tough time finishing a season in New Jersey.
Yeah, I don't know. The decline that he's had from his MVP season to this last season, I don't know. There was commentators talking about how he's the best quarterback in the AFC East right now, and I have no idea how you can even begin to say that where he's at. I agree that his legacy, absolutely. I mean, you can't deny what the guy is and what he's done, but to say that he's coming into a division with Josh Allen and try to make a argument that he's like the best, I don't know. I'm not listening to that. I'll give him, I'll give him maybe number two. I'll give him number two because of his pedigree, but I would not give him number one. So it'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting.
I believe Packers had a better line than the Jets do. The Jets have gotten away from line after they missed on the Becton pick a couple of years back. They went, obviously, Sauce Gardner last year. They brought in Wilson, the wide receiver, Breece Hall, running back. They've got the talent around, but our friend Rodgers is used to having great protection, and I don't think he's going to have that this year. So when Dean says something about that Monday morning is going to be awful painful, I agree 100%. They better hit big on the offensive line this draft because their defense is strong. They better do something to protect him, or else the Packers will be missing out on a first-round pick next year because he has to play 65% of the snaps next year for this year to get that pick. So who knows what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, that was an interesting little part of that deal, because I really think draft value-wise, you look at it like potentially two first. Really, this year's first, they're just swapping, and it's only a
just
couple
two spots.
And then there's some like hefty damage this year, but then next year that second round pick, like, okay, but the potential for it to turn into a first round, that Aaron Rodgers is playing all of 65% of the snaps if he's healthy, and whether he's playing 2004 Aaron Rodgers capabilities or whatever, it's just, to me, I don't know, the rearranging that you did, the wide receivers that you went out and got, you kind of screwed with a lineup that was really coming together and working. I thought working well for Jersey, and now it's not. So I don't know. I think they messed it up for sure. But
oh yeah, for sure.
That's enough about Aaron Rodgers, man. That's enough about him. Forget him. Forget all about Rodgers. Not worried about him. If you're looking at your screen right now, you will see to your left the mock simulator that we're going to do, and to your right, Mr. Dean's analysis and all the hard work that he's poured in to this year's draft. And very excited to get into this, see how it all plays out. What did we do, 3 rounds last week?
Yeah, we did the first 3 rounds. No, we just did the full round, full first round.
Oh, we did the full first round last week. That's right. Yeah. So
I've done so many mocks, Swank. I can't
know,
remember
dude.
what we did
I don't know how
ago.
you can keep them straight. You wake up doing mocks.
The key with everybody that does mock drafts, if you save every one of your mock drafts, and then when the Bills finally do their draft, you could pick one of those and be one of the most accurate people that's ever done a mock draft before. So the more you do, the better chance you have to look like a genius.
Oh, man. All right. So what we're going to do here is select our Buffalo Bills. We're going 7 rounds. Do a little fast draft.
We're not going to do any trades here.
No trades.
Although I do think there will be some trades. We have a first round 27th pick, a second round 59th, 91st, 130, 137, and 205 will be the picks that we're picking for Buffalo.
That's right. So we're already there. We're at pick 27. Just for she's and gigs, I think this simulator, they always they push trades really hard.
Oh yeah.
They say we have 3 offers just for giggles here. The Bills 27th and 130th for Oakland's or Las Vegas's 38th, 70th, and 100th. And we're going to reject that. The Bills 27th for Cleveland's 74th, Nick Chubb, and a 2024 second round pick.
Holy cow.
That's pretty steep.
I think we're set at running back.
Yep, thanks. And here we go. The last one is from the Dallas Cowboys, pick 27 and pick 130 from the Bills. 4, pick 58, pick 90, next year's second, next year's third, and cornerback Lewis. It's a lot, but we're rejecting. So here we are. We're picking 27th. Player pool, best available over here. We're looking at a cast of characters. Dean, what position group are you looking for right now, right out the gate? What is your dream pick for these Bills at 27?
I'll tell you right now. I have a couple of principles that I've been following when I'm doing mock drafts. First of all, 2 of the first 3 have to be hog mollies. Hog molly is somebody on the offensive line or the defensive line that can kick ass. So if that doesn't happen, then you have to, if somebody drops to you, you just have to take. Then 3 of your first 5 picks have to be hog mollies. So those are things that I'll follow throughout. And I'm going to pass on players with bad interviews. And what I see here, you've got Brian Brzee, I believe.
Yep.
He has 5 visits, and the column next to what I'm showing you here is pressures per game, 0.92 pressures per game. Now, Kalijah Cansey has more, Jalen Redmond has more, Tuli Tuipulotu has more, Dante Stills has more, Keon White, Isaiah McGuire as late as probably the 3rd round. So you can still get defensive line help. The kicker with Brzee is, though, you get somebody who is fast, and he was a ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year, joining Dexter Lawrence there. He can play 3-tech and he can play edge. He's played in a 4-2-5 like the Bills play, so that he's still a real good concern there. He'd be a consideration for you. Now, as is Mozzie Smith there as well?
Is he available?
I'm looking. Yes, 46. They have him ranked.
Okay, so they have him ranked lower than I do, but that's typical. So you don't have to take defensive line here. You could wait to. There are other guys that have been seen 5 times, like Jacqueline Roy, who might be a good consideration in the 3rd round. Byron Young of Alabama, 3rd round, and even Siaki Ika in the next round. So let's not go defensive line here. What's the offensive line help look like?
Best available right now, they have Anton Harrison.
Right. So you could see, I have him on the Buffalo FanBase board at 31, which isn't too far away from where we're drafting. There are only 4 players, and maybe 5 if you count Paris Johnson, who are equally good at pass blocking and run blocking. So he is definitely a consideration. He also was on it. He wasn't getting much help from the Oklahoma line to accomplish that. Now, I'll tell you a secret that Matt Bergeron might be there at our next pick, but it'll be close. It'll be close. So you may not want to pass up talent there. And I can't choose Will McDonald. He had one of the worst interviews. The other one there is wide receiver. So Zay Flowers, number of visits is, you can see there are 6 players up at the top that received at least 5 visits. And Zay Flowers is the shortest of them. But one of the faster players we're going to be considering in round 1. I like Jalen Hyatt for the deep threat, but I love Zay Flowers for the route running. I think you're looking for route running more than you are looking for a deep threat. But what do you guys think?
I kind of agree with you on every take that you've done. And what it looks like is that, and I said we're not doing trades on this thing, but it looks like they could trade back and still get pretty good players in each one of these positions. I do like, and I just recently been introduced to this idea, is the defensive line at this position, due to the fact that in 2024, right now, we have Kingsley, I think DeQuan Jones, and Settle, and that's it.
Right.
I think those are the only guys that are on contract. So I think, and you hate to see, Swank does not want to see a defensive lineman taken again. But we've invested and we do a rotational, but I think if we want to figure out someone that the Bills have to take someone that can be immediate starter. This whole draft develop a resign thing is not necessarily not working, but our window is closing and we need to do something now. So defensive line, I think, would be a good spot. I also like offensive tackle. So I am on the Brian Brissy, the Mozzie Smith, because Brissy can take the Oliver position at the Tech 3.
Right.
Mozzie Smith will take that big, heavy, take up 2 blockers kind of guy at the Tech 1. So I want to go either one of those 2 right now.
So here's my thinking about Mozzie Smith. He will be to Brandon Beane like Star Lotulelei was in Carolina. Star Lotulelei was the big space eater in the middle, and he put Star Lotulelei in his pro day put up 38 reps. Well, Mozzie put up 34, and then he loaded on some more plates and did 22 reps at 325. Let's draft Mozzie Smith, because that's what Bean would do.
And I think Bergeron will be available in the second. So I think that'll be Swank's always pushing, get that line, get that trench working, right, Swank?
I mean, so Dean, are you suggesting we go after Mazzy now, or are you saying we pick somebody else and try for him in the second?
I don't think he'll be available in the second.
I have him at 27 overall, and Michigan was the second most highly visited school by scouts.
Okay.
And if you want Ed
I
Oliver to be
scouts.
successful, Daquan Jones already does that for him. But if you bring in someone because of this rotational defense like a Mozzie Smith, because Daquan's contract will be due, this is a good guy that you'll be on the roster for 5 years.
And gap pluggers will help a new middle linebacker, really well.
Boom.
Well,
As much as I want to go offensive tackle here, I think this is a good pickup.
Oh, I do too. I just noticed that there's some offensive tacklage there. Let's see what happens to Bergeron, and what happens to Jack Campbell.
all right. We're going Mozzie Smith. He is a Buffalo Bill right now. Oh, we got a couple other crazy trade offers right now. Pick 59 and pick 130 for the Buffalo Bills in exchange for Green Bay's 78th and a next year's second. And we're going to reject. And the Browns are still knocking on the door, and we don't care, and reject. Here we go. Well, right now, second round. We got our D-line guy, first round. We know, hey, Bean and McD have not shied away from going D-line, 1-2. I know that's a history here, but I somehow doubt that that's going to happen this year. What do you think, Dean?
I would agree because they are both very much the same. Mozzie Smith is going to beat. For instance, is going to beat Siaki Ika in a foot race every time with one leg tied behind his back. So I think that we've probably crossed that bridge for now. Later on, there's a real opportunity to get a 3-tech, and the history shows that, for instance, in round 3 and round 4, you'll be able to get one of those guys that was very effective. And even as late as the last pick, we might be able to get a 3-tech that was remarkably effective. In fact, that's a good foreshadowing. At 205s, you can still get one of the DTs that was third in pressures per game.
Wow.
All right. Just between us, though.
Yeah.
So
Swank, can you do me a favor? Can you click on offense and see what tackles are available, and then click on defense to see what middle linebackers are available?
All right, tackles. We have Cody Mauch from North
Okay.
Dakota State. Warren McClendon from Georgia. Blake Freeland from BYU. Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse.
Freeland.
So Dean Bergeron's still there.
Awesome. Okay, Cromer and one of his toadies went to the pro day at Syracuse. But they also scouted Virginia, they scouted Pitt, they scouted a couple of other games too. So Bergeron, I have him at 49. Getting him here is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have to go too far to come down the Thomas E. Dewey Thruway to come and be with us. He's also a really good run blocker, and Bleacher Report actually said that he was the best run blocker in the class.
Wow.
I'm not sure I believe that, but that would be a really good pick for the Bills in terms of value.
I see that value going in a lot of spots, Dean. I see it being a right tackle because we don't know what's happening with Spencer Brown right now with his back injury. Our resident expert, Rob Mullen, he tells us all the time he's got great feet, but he can't bend at the waist. He's not that good at bending at the waist, so you need that at right tackle. I see this pick being able to be a right tackle for now, transferring over to left tackle. When Deion Dawkins gets a little older, Deion can be the right tackle, and that line is still good to go. Swank, I do want to see middle linebacker right now if you have that option.
Sure.
I know that's definitely a position I think a lot of fans want to address. But right now, I think Bergeron would be a good pick right now. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, and my only question, because everybody will ask afterwards, was Jack Campbell on the board at this point?
And he's not.
And that's kind of what we figured, is that if we were looking at the three linebackers that would be at the top, that would be a consideration. But here's the thing: Jack Campbell had 2 visits, total. So I'm not really sure that he was even in the cards. Trenton Simpson had the most visits.
Mm-hmm.
Servassier Dennis from Pittsburgh had the second most, along with Jeremy Banks not happening, Mahmoud Diabate, who's available with the last pick, and DeAndre Square. Those are players who had games had scouts at games, and I don't believe any of them. Noah Sewell would be the best guess I would have of all of the ILBs that are left, but maybe he's trying to a subterfuge here, and he didn't visit them on purpose at Iowa.
Maybe the ultimate smokescreen.
Yes, I believe it.
So Sewell is the highest rated linebacker left. We have Henley from Washington State, Pace Jr. from Cincinnati. How do you say the Alabama Henry 2020? Is that his name?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it sounds like collectively between the two of you, you'd rather have the offensive tackle, correct?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Forgive me. I gotta let my dog inside real quick.
Yeah, do it up. I've been telling a lot of my friends, I want our drafts to start being trench drafts. I want them to be Tom Brady era Patriots drafts where they're just filling up the trenches and protecting Josh Allen for as long as possible. So we're going Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse. He's our second round pick.
If you've done mocks as often as I have, and you notice where these players go, if you don't take them, they go to Cincinnati or they go to Kansas City.
Kansas City, yes, absolutely.
Just saying that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I wonder how much of that, do you think, part of me thinks Bean isn't afraid of that, right? Like if that's not his guy, that's not his guy, right? And it doesn't matter. But the other part of it's like, he's got to be like, damn it, everyone.
So we got our hog mollies in round 1 and round 2.
Yep.
So you have the luxury now of either choosing another hog molly or a playmaker that would help in snaps and help Josh the most. We've already gotten him Bergeron, and that's going to help some too.
Yep. Best available is who's best available according to your board right now? I know you haven't seen who's left, but where we're at right now with the simulator, safety Jamie Robinson, running back Zach Evans. I am not into picking a running back this early. I don't know how you guys feel about any of that. We got Henley.
So Jamie Robinson had 8 visits, 8 contacts, and he has one of the highest solo tackles per game. He's one of the best 3 in zone, and he's quite good at man. He's been in a 4-2-5, and his 23 bench reps was second among all defensive backs. So, and his interview was awesome. He would fit. He would fit in that room. However, that room is semi-crowded. Couple of old guys, plus Taylor Rapp. So you could fill a need before it becomes one. That would be a possibility.
I agree. Third round, I was thinking middle linebacker, but now that Jamie is available, the guy is a tackling machine. He can come up in the box like Poyer does and Hyde do. And you're right. could the potential future in the next 3 to 4 years be Jamie Robinson and Rapp? I think this would be a great pickup. It's one of those draft develop, re-sign kind of players, and you're in the third round and you're filling a need. I don't think it's a bad pickup if we want Jamie Robinson here.
What was the wide receiver list right now?
Check her out.
Let's check her out.
We got Keyshawn Boot from LSU, Nathaniel Dell from Houston, Jaden Reed, Jonathan Mingo, Xavier Hutchinson, Bryce Ford Wheaton.
See, I'm a fan of that Bryce Ford Wheaton guy. He's a big bodied guy. How many times has he visited? Did he get any visits from us there?
Okay, 2. But let me tell you about one of those visits. He had 9 catches for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the athleticism and concentration that Ford Wheaton shows is great. You're talking about somebody that's in that 6'3", 221, 4.38 seconds. And everybody knows that being coveted DK Metcalf and didn't get him. And he's always been looking for his DK Metcalf. That he could actually be one of those guys. So take the 2 visits with a grain of salt. That would be a good pick. I have him at 187, which so we differ a little bit in terms of where we have him on our board, but he's one of my players that I marked in blue because of the similarity to DK Metcalf and what he does.
I wanted to address something that our boy Mr. Rob Mullen is saying right now, and I think it's probably something that's going to be on everybody's mind on Thursday. Linebacker.
Yep.
He said, must grab Henley now before you lose him. Excellent fill at Edmonds' position. So we got Henley from Washington State, top-ranked linebacker according to this simulator on the board. What do you think, Dean?
Some mock draft stimulators have him as a top-ranked linebacker overall.
Wow.
And PFF does. PFF actually has him as the best coverage guy, the best tackler, and he's had starting will linebacker experience. So there's that. He's played in a 4-2-5. I think he could be other things as well. He can blitz. He can be an OLB if we somehow like who we have at middle linebacker. He had no visits, but he played in Washington State, and we didn't go to the Pac-12 a lot this year. And the ones that they liked, they went and saw their pro day. They did not go to his pro day.
And he's one of those guys, 6'1", 230 pounds. He's the same size as Milano. So if we want those 2 type of linebackers out there, that'd be a good thing. Doesn't run quite as fast as any of the linebackers we had. Last I saw, he was like a 4.7.
Yep.
What do you got on there? You got a 4.71. So I mean,
yeah,
he could be gone by the time we have that choice at number 4 at 130. So I guess this is Dean, you want to make that call to Bean to see what he had at this pick?
So my guess is that if this could be another smoke screen. I have a feeling that he's comfortable with who he has in the room. The other possibility there is Servassier Dennis of Pittsburgh. He seems to like Pittsburgh's style. They run a 4-3, and Servassier lives in Syracuse. So his tackling isn't quite as wrap up as DeMar Hamlin's was, and Dane Jackson. Both of them are from Pittsburgh, but yeah, that's a tough call. You've got is Noah Sewell still on the board?
No,
he's gone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably making a call that Bean Scouts would not be making or advising him. So I'm going to pass on this one. I would take Jamie Robinson and if you wanted, you could add more defensive line help and make it easier on your linebackers. And that might do more good than taking Deion Henley.
So, can you go to safeties one more time? JL Skinner was a name that Rob Mullen brought up. Boise State. I'm a fan of him.
Love him.
Some people had him going even in the second round. Is he still available?
He will still. I bet he still is available. He's giant. He had a pectoral injury, so he's probably working back out. And played in a 4-2-5 scheme as well. He's sort of that strong safety, offensive outside linebacker type, and high tackles per game. And the Bills went to his pro day, and it's a long way to Boise State. I go there twice a year.
Yep.
I'm actually not seeing him. I think he got picked already.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Yeah, he's already off the board. Okay.
Gotcha. I did want to acknowledge some stuff. Hey, John, he said, why are you ignoring comments? I'm not trying to, my buddy. We're just working through it. There's a lot going on. So I see you up there. I've been throwing it up and keep commenting, and hopefully we'll get to it. All right. We got a lot of people ringing the bell for Henley. I think
let's do it.
It's one of those things. There is something else I wanted to ask you guys about. Because there's also a lot of chatter. Our boy Joey Hatch, a couple other people talking about the possibility of trading this pick in some sort of package to get D-Hop. And what are your thoughts about that, Dean?
Woo-hoo! I was going to say, did that come out loud?
We are live.
So, to me, that would make a good wide receiver room. You don't have to address it with a pick. That makes sense to me. What do you feel about Henley versus parlaying it into D-Hop?
To me, I don't know. It's so hard for me to tell, like the two sides of the ball. Like, I know what the hole is there without Edmonds. The thing that's kind of intriguing me is that as much as I love Frazier, he's not there calling plays anymore. Now it's strictly McDermott. So how much of a different look are we get? Like, how much more could he get out of somebody that we already have on the roster? I obviously want a linebacker to fill that hole or I don't know, linebacker by committee. I don't know, something to like make me feel like there's not going to be this big gaping hole there. But D-Hop, man, I don't know. If we're putting up 40 every game, what's it matter? When you have Diggs and Hop and you got man, I don't know, Gabe, Dawson. If you're scoring that many points, nobody's going to be able to keep up anyway.
I'll tell you what, if D-Hop is on the roster, that means Mozzie Smith and Tim Settle are your starting defensive tackles. I think you pair in Ed Oliver with that third round pick, you get D-Hop.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, as much of an Ed Oliver fan as I am, this was the best season he's ever had in a Buffalo Bills uniform, and it still kind of slipped under the radar. So I think I'd be okay with that. What do you guys think in the comments? But in the meantime, I think we're going with Henley. Is that what's going on?
I think Henley's a good pickup. Now, again, I wouldn't avoid putting by those safeties, though. Jamie Johnson, the guy that we mentioned, JL Skinner, and a guy named Antonio Johnson, someone that Rob Mullen highlighted on our draft profile on www.247 Buff Fandemonium. He is also a potential player if he lands in the fourth. If any of those guys, the safeties that we talked about, are landing now in the fourth pick, I think it's a no-brainer. We get one of them now.
There will be.
Okay, let's see what happens here, Swank.
Let's see what happens.
Here we go.
We're getting that linebacker Henley, guys.
We got him.
Right.
Good
So
pick.
far, I'm feeling pretty good about this draft.
I'm liking this draft. That's because we have the guru with
The
us,
guru,
right?
man. That's what it's all about. We couldn't have picked it this well.
So, Swank, right off the bat, I want you to go to safeties real quick just to see which ones are available, if you could.
Sure.
Now we've got a defensive tackle, an offensive tackle, linebacker. I would say other positions we would need now would be the safety position. possibly an interior offensive lineman, and then wide receiver. And those will be the last 3 picks. Dean, what are you thinking right now as far as the last 3?
So I do very well to look at centers here, because a lot of the centers have left guard experience as well, so that they could move either way. They could take over for Mitch Morse if he has his 17th concussion, or they can start it at left guard and back up at left guard. So that's a possibility. And the number of visits for centers is striking. You have Olusegun Oluwatimi, and you have it would still be there. Juice Scruggs got a visit from the Bills, and I'm not sure about Alex Forsyth, but he's a compelling cerebral guy that I think everybody should consider. And Juice Scruggs, I found out, went to Erie, PA prep school, and talk about powerful, nimble. So both Scruggs and Forsyth have that same personality that you're looking for. So I beat the table for either of them if they were there.
All 3 of them are there right now.
Woo!
Yep, I saw that, and I'm a huge fan of that Michigan center. Good size. The guy's only allowed 2 sacks.
Correct.
I like that pick. And he's got a lot of visits, so I can't see with all those visits and still being at the pick number 4 that he would not be available. Keeping in mind, guys, this is pick 130 in the 4th round. We did trade to get a 5th round 137. So whatever we get here, we only have 6 more picks before that where we can get someone else. So there's still going to be a lot of people on the board.
This is pick 130.
This is pick 130. I think it's a can't miss with him.
I feel good because I ranked him 131. So just saying, I'm smelly thumbs proud right now. So.
I like this pick. You're right. He could play a guard. If we brought in those 2 free agents pick that could play the guard for now, but he could be somebody that could be rotational. Learn the system under Mitch Morse. Is a great center to learn a system under. Great leadership, calling everything on the line of scrimmage before Josh Allen even walks up to under center.
Right.
I think that he'd be a great person to learn under, and he could take over in the next couple of years. And you're right. God forbid Mitch Morse has 1 more concussion. He will be out. I like this pick, and I've watched a lot of Michigan games, and I think this guy's an animal.
And we don't have to pronounce his name. We would just call him Olu.
Oh no!
The whole time that he's with us. So
yeah, but for right now,
Dean, 3 out of 4 hog mollies. I think that's great.
Yeah. For right now, though, I need Scott to try to pronounce this name because it's kind of an on-running game here for 24/7.
Olusegun Oluwatimi.
I think that's pretty good. I think I'm going to give it to him. That's damn good. Here you go. He's on the team. That's so good. All right.
I tried to find people that had the best interviews of every spot, and Olu has one of those best interviews with Warren Erickson, who would be available as a PFA, and Alex Forsyth, who I mentioned before.
Great.
I like it. Love it. I love it. I think this draft is looking really good right now, guys.
Sure is. All right, here we are. Where are we going now, fellas?
Playmaker.
Okay.
That smells
right
like
now,
wide receiver
I can
to
see
me.
a wide receiver that I mentioned before. Yes. Bryce Ford Wheaton. 6'3", 220 pounds. DK Metcalf-esque kind of wide receiver. I know we're good there, guys. I know we got Diggs. I know we got Davis. We brought in Sherfield and Hardy. But this red zone presence, red zone was Achilles tendon last year for the Buffalo Bills. That's why they brought in the running back. I'm having a brain fart, guys, from New England.
Harris?
Yes. Damian Harris. They brought him in to help the red zone. I think bringing someone in to help the red zone pass game would be, I can't believe he's still on the board, Bryce Wheaton.
Bryce Ford Wheaton, wide receiver, West Virginia.
Everybody will laugh at me if I don't say this, so I'm going to say it. One of the guys that I'm very partial to in the draft is Michael Wilson. I think he would have been a first round pick had he not had 2 Jones fractures back to back.
Mhm.
He might be around for a number of other rounds in real life.
He's strong too.
The other one I was gonna put pound the carpet for here is is Rashee Rice still on there? The reason is that Rashee Rice is probably one of the best downfield blockers in the class. I think they're going to look for those things. He's sort of that Cortland Sutton type in that. Very good in the corners of the end zone, that type of thing.
We know how the Bills like those SMU wide receivers.
Yes.
No, he does not look to be available.
I guess he spent a lot of time on Twitter today as well. So Tank Dell, I just want to tell you I am not a fan. Had the worst interview in the class. He's the shortest. He's the lightest. He had no yards per catch against AP ranked teams this year. 17. Not a fan, but he could be that kind of guy that you're looking for. Speedy slot, shifty, and he killed it at the Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just didn't like the interview at all.
Yeah. Well, it's all important.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, Bryce Ford Wheaton right now is a guy that Rob Mullen also highlighted in one of our profiles. The guy that could be the boom or bust type player. And I'm just a fan of that 6'3", 220-pound, 4.38. He's got the size, he's got the speed, and I don't know if he's there in the 5th round.
Yeah.
2
touchdowns in the scouted game. Gotta look. You know it. Gotta look.
And Dean, we mentioned him 2 rounds ago.
Right.
And he's still available.
Rob Mullen's on board. He says, "Boom, make this pick. We're done with the suspense. Here we go."
BFW.
He's a Bill. He's a Buffalo Bill.
Love it.
Here we go, cruising through round 6, and
now, you've already logged your requirement for hog mollies. You've got 3. You got Mozzie, you got Bergeron, and you got Olu.
Mm-hmm.
So this can be best player that you think Bean would take, which would be, number of visits or whatever.
Right.
You still want to look at that player that I was talking before. You might have some safety there that you might want to groom, or you can probably even get a couple of these guys after the draft.
Right, because a lot of the guys that are available, you can still get undrafted free agents, undrafted rookie free agents, they call them.
Yep.
What safeties do we have available, Swank?
Jalen Green, Anthony Johnson Jr., Javarius Owens, Xavier Henderson, Jordan Howden. Those are the top 5. Christian Isian, Jason Taylor. Isian. Jason Taylor II, Avery Young, Christian Young, Daniel Scott, Jaden Woodbay.
Well, Christian Isian from Rutgers, he's short, he's small, he doesn't run that fast, but he's good at tackling, and he got a lot of visits from the looks of it. Right there, Dean.
Yeah. The two that I would also mention would be Shamari Connor, Virginia Tech, Tremaine School. He was the top in the CB class in solo tackles and led the ACC in solo tackles in 2020. He had a 40.5 vert. That was way up there in the DB group. The other one that I mentioned would be in the top tackler in the SEC, DeMarco Helms.
Right, and we need our safeties to be tacklers because that's what the Buffalo Bills expect out of both Poyer and Hyde. They do come in the box, so size is an important thing.
Yep.
If someone that's 5 foot something, 190 pounds, they're not going to be able to handle them guards coming out. I know Taron Johnson does a great job at the nickel. This could be somebody that could come in and play nickel, spell Taron a couple times until the opportunity arises for him. But I think any one of those guys that you just mentioned, they're pretty high on your list too, as far as visits go.
I just reorganized the list by tackles per game, and
Okay.
you have Quindell Johnson, Kendarick Duncan, Christian Izien, DeMarco Helms, and Antonio Johnson. So, Jale Skinner and Jamie Robinson are also in that list.
Oh yeah.
Shamari Connor is 10th. So there's a lot of good choices there, and
It'll be interesting. We're at what, pick 205?
Yeah, Izien and Helms are 3 and 4 visits respectively.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie Hickman is he gone?
Yep.
That's good. He had 9 visits, by the way. That leads the entire class. And Jamie Robinson was second with 8.
That's because he does it all. He's free safety, corner, nickelback, 4-2-5 defender. And he's not that. Now, keep in mind, I think Poyer and Hyde were each like 4-4-5, 4-5-40. So they're not looking for burners back there as far as 4-3, 4-2. They just need someone that can cover that back 2 zone, and they got a 15-yard advantage on these guys, anyways. What they want there is someone that can respect that half the field and come up and make a tackle if they have to. And
Dane Jackson led. Dane Jackson and Hamlin both were in the top 3 in solo tackles per game in their year.
Yep. So they want tacklers.
We got our boy.
So right now, Swank, the list you see up there, Dean put it in order of most
tackles,
isolated tackles per game. Yep.
Okay.
And the zone and man categories are NFL Draft Buzz rated each player according to whether they were zone, how good they were in zone, and how good they were in man.
Right. Okay. So, very cool.
Helms and Johnson were right up there with Jamie Robinson.
Okay. I'm trying to find the visits. Yeah, Ronnie Hickman, if he was available, that'd be nice. So, Swank, who's our top corner or safeties right now? Jalen Green,
Anthony Johnson Jr., Javarius Owens, and Xavier Henderson. We got some people chiming in about tight end, possibly. What do you think about that?
Yeah, let's go look at tight ends. I mean, Tommy Sweeney's our tight end number 2 right now. Dawson Knox obviously signed that contract, a lot of money for a guy that doesn't get a lot of targets, but Josh Allen likes to spread the ball around. And if Dorsey introduces an offense that throws to the running backs more, because we do have running backs that do well out of the backfield, you're not going to see Dawson Knox get an increased amount of targets. But to be able to present this offense with a 2 tight end to let Cook would be nice, a different option for this offense. I think it's not bad to replace or even be a number 3. I like Quentin Morris, but I think Sweeney might be out.
Sweeney's already out, isn't he? I think he's gone.
Yep.
Is he? Oh,
yep.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I think he's down in the Giants.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Right. All right. Thanks for the nice reminder.
Real quick, before we go any further, I want to remind everyone that we are sponsored by the amazing 26 shirts from, that great charitable organization. Go check it out. It's amazing. And don't forget that after 9 o'clock, here we go, folks. We're in overtime. That's right. We're in overtime, and it couldn't be better. Dean, thanks so much for hanging with us through this whole thing. It's been amazing.
Yep.
So here we are with the tight ends. We got Marshawn Ford, Kamari Everett, Cameron McDonald, Ben Sims, Davis Allen, Brenton Strange.
Did you say Ben Sims?
I did.
So all-time record holder for career touchdowns by a tight end at Baylor. You have the Baylor connection with McDermott. You also have one of the 3 best interviews in the class. 6'5", 254, so he matches up there at least size-wise with Knox. And 4 visits. They went to see him at the pro day. Dave Aranda is the head coach. He's of course in the inner circle with McDermott. So that certainly makes a lot of sense.
Twisting my arm, Dean. You're twisting my arm, man.
So Ben Sims is a nice choice.
That is a great choice. He's number, he ranks well on your thing. Interviewed well. I heard he speaks well. He's very well-educated gentleman, and I think this would be a great pickup, actually. A late pickup, 6th round that stays on the roster. I like it.
Athletic as heck and articulate as heck. I think he would fit right in that room. So that room likes to play around with Josh, and that's you need somebody that can keep up with that.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Rob was asking about Allen. What do you think about Davis Allen?
Good choice, because at any time you can get a ACC player, that would be good. He had the second most games played, and that seems to matter. He's probably more of a physical blocker, but he held his own as far as like 49 catches this year, 508 yards, 7 touchdowns, and he had the second most games played. He also had more catches against the AP ranked teams. As far as yard, both of them are four visits though.
Is he any relation to tight end that used to play there that went to the Colts, and Dwayne Allen? Any relation?
I don't think so. I usually pick up on those things.
I like that pickup. I like the Allen Davis pickup.
I give
the Ben Sims pickup.
I won't confuse you with the other ACC tight end, Will Mallory. He may not be on the board anyway. Great hands, high catch rate, underused, I think, at Miami.
Miami guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Rob
is he still available?
Rob says he'd go Allen for blocking if he's replacing Sweeney. Solid pick with Sims. We're split here in the comments. So
yeah.
And that is even if we think we need to go tight end right now. I think it's an interesting route to go. But
I like the McDermott connection. Let's go. I'd say we go Ben Sims, Baylor,
all right,
6'5", 258 pounds. Let's do it.
And this doesn't mean you can't pick up a couple of tight ends in preferred free agency. There are some that could actually make it from. This is a deep class.
Absolutely.
I think we did well. We addressed our line. We addressed the middle linebacker position. We addressed the wide receiver, the tight end. That's a good draft. And like you said, you never know what gems you could pick up in the undrafted rookie free agents. And they all get to play in camp, and they all get to prove themselves.
Absolutely. If you're looking to the left of your screen, just to recap, pick number 1 at 27, we had Mazzie Smith, defensive tackle from Michigan. 59, we had Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse, offensive tackle. Yep. We had Henley from Washington State as a linebacker in round 3. And then, I'm going to try it right now, and I think I'm going to butcher it worse than you did. Olusegun Oluwatimi. Shit. Damn.
That's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay. Sometimes Swank. Sometimes if you mumble your way through it, that'll work.
I like the Ulu. I think that's the way we're going with that.
Olu.
Yeah. We got Bryce Ford Wheaton from West Virginia, and then Ben Sims, tight end out of Baylor, to finish it off. Man, I feel pretty good. And in the comments, what do you guys? What kind of grade would you give this draft? I think I'd be walking away pretty happy. I know we got people saying without the D hop, it's only a B plus. Like whatever, okay, but I understand.
Right,
but wow.
Right now, our cap space only allows us to draft and sign our draft picks. So there's a lot that has to happen for us to be able to afford D hop.
Yeah. Absolutely.
One thing we didn't do in this draft because we said no trades is that we didn't consider trading away the 27 or the 59 to a team that still wants a quarterback. And I'm betting you if there are 4 quarterbacks taken, somebody's missing out. And that'll be right around that. You want a 5-year plan with a quarterback.
Yep.
That means you had to take them in the first round. You might as well take them at the end of the first round with somebody who's eager to make a trade.
Yeah.
So, Dean, I got a question for you. It's a question that everyone that's listening, Thursday night starting at 7, we got our draft show going on. We're joined in with the fan base. We're going to have a good old time. Going to last all 31 picks. Why are there 31 picks? Because Miami lost theirs because they're cheaters. Anyways, I love it. I love it. The question I have for them, and I'm going to ask you, Dean and Swank, I want you to tie in this real quick. With Miami with 2 of the concussions, the bag of milk of Mac Jones, and with the age of Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson, like I said, he's out. And Mike White, right?
He's gone.
Quarterback for the Jets is gone.
Yep.
Do you think those 3 AFC East division rivals are going to address a quarterback, all of them, in this draft?
Oh, that's a great question. Let's I'm going to throw a screen up here for you. So
He's prepared.
If you look here, 4 quarterbacks between Carolina, Houston, Indianapolis, and Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's the needs. The dark black ones down here means that this team here, that's Washington, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, all got screwed out of a quarterback because 4 were already taken. That's the Hendon Hooker sweepstakes, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
All right, or whoever you think.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
I think Hendon Hooker's
all of them happened before Buffalo. So the good news is that somebody is going to want to trade up. So here's what I'm proposing. Way over on the right here.
And this is why we brought him in, fellas.
Yeah, that's right.
Ladies.
You offer 27 for teams wanting a 5-year quarterback. I suggest you offer your 27 for Washington's 47, 97, and 215. That's always picked up by the simulators as accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay for their 50 and 82 and 96 or 196, or Minnesota for their 31 and 87.
Ooh.
So either way, all of those could
I'm a
get
fan
you
of that
Jack
one.
Campbell.
Me too.
That's
I'm
what
a fan of that
I'm
one,
getting
yeah.
at, and more. So that's the. We're not done yet, and if you think you have to stay up until 11:20 on draft night for
It's
the
actually
disappointment of having them trade down into the day 2.
That's what's going to happen.
You'll look really smart if you just check your Twitter in the morning.
But
No, I'll be
please,
watching it. There's gonna be a lot of drama.
yeah,
there is.
but
There is
please
for sure.
watch the draft special that we're doing live.
There you go.
Yeah, man, I can see all that happening. That Minnesota trade though, that seems to strike a nice chord with me.
And we've already had deals with them. We've already messed with them a little bit. Not only with the Diggs trade, but with I know Harris Phillips is over there, and he's probably got nothing but good to say about our organization. So there might be a little leeway with that one. I wouldn't mind dropping 4 picks and getting that 31st pick, 32nd pick. Oh heck yeah!
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Exactly. Well, they've spent a lot of time in Tennessee this the last 2 months. A lot of jet visits to Tennessee, and there are other reasons you would go to Tennessee. Pagula's got a record label there,
Mhm.
so it's not a done deal that it would be for talking with Titans, but that's another one to keep in mind.
Yep.
Dean, we got a question from Rob here. He said he's very curious to know who is your draft bust prediction of this class of draftees.
Oh, do I only have to give you one?
You can give as many as you want.
No. So I pay attention to the interviews as a way of trying to predict that, and I don't know if Tank Dell is going to be the who is it, Andy Isabella of this year.
Yep.
But he's so small, he might get broken. And the other one is Will McDonald. I was not a fan of Will McDonald in watching the tape and also listening to the interview. So that's from my catbird seat, which pays a lot of attention to personality. I'm going to be on Tea Time with Robin in the next coming days. Just keep your eyes open on Twitter for that. We're going to talk a little bit about the interview and how that affects how a player relates to his teammates, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. One of those things, you're all going to kill me for this one. And I think one of the top 3 quarterbacks in this draft is going to be the bust. And it's whoever picks up CJ Stroud. It's one of those things that he didn't do well on his. It wasn't the big test that they do. It was another test that I can't remember the name of these tests because there's so many. But not only did he not do well on the test, but he was a guy that was surrounded by talent. There's 2 offensive tackles that are going to go in this first round. 2 offensive tackles for Ohio State. They're going to go in the first round. There's Jackson Njigba that's going to go in the first round. He was surrounded by talent, and this may be a case of talent made him look better than he actually was. Hey, if I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong, but I think he's one of those things. That's why I think Anthony Richardson is the number 1 quarterback in this draft. I think Carolina with Frank Reich would be great for picking him up and developing him into what he needs to be.
Nice.
And that's the take I'm taking with this one. And again, prove me wrong, but that's the way I feel.
That's a great take. That's a great take. My guess is that Houston has the picks to take over the first pick, and if there's any question in their minds, that they have the picks to do it. Seattle may leapfrog Indy because they have tons of picks.
Yep.
Seattle has 10 picks, 5 in the top 100. Mm-hmm. And then Philadelphia might cause a problem or two by leapfrogging Chicago to get to. Really disgusting how long your grass is getting.
There you go.
All right. Well, this has been a fun night.
Thank you.
You ain't kidding.
I had fun.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
was a blast.
Please come back anytime you want. We had a really great time, and I know Jarrod would really enjoy it too. And thanks for doing this, man.
Well, stay in touch, and people hit me up on Twitter, and I'm a very sharing person, so hit me up on Twitter.
Absolutely, at TCBills_Astro. Follow him up on Twitter.
NLCA training camp.
Yeah, absolutely. Another year at St. John Fisher. I'm so glad they're doing it.
Yeah. I'll go every day. My wife is glad to get me out of the house. So.
Dean, we will have you on so we could talk about how training camp went, and you can give us your run through of that.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Sounds good.
I'd love to.
Sounds good. I'll still write my astronaut notes every day. That was kind of a fun thing to do. So if I get my grandson to come too, he likes that stuff too. He looked out at the guys doing calisthenics. He says, "Oh, that number 33 doesn't look like he just looks like he's going through the motions. Well, he was cut the next day.
He's got it. He's got it.
He's got the eyes. So.
There you go.
We'll talk to you soon, guys.
Well, absolutely. And Fandemonium, thanks so much. Don't forget, you can check us out every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the K-Gun Report, and 24/7 buffandemonium.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, of course, just like the name says. Don't forget to catch Scott for the AndFambase and K-Gun exclusive draft party show coming up this Thursday, starting at 7 p.m. and carrying you all the way through to the end of the draft, the first round, that is. And man, we love you guys. Follow us up. Scott, you got anything to add?
Later.
Swank cut out. Yeah, no, for sure. See you later. Thanks, Dean. We'll see you again for sure. Thanks for your insight.
Thank you.
We had a hell of a draft. Now send this, put it on Bean's big board, and we'll see if they can't pick up people that we picked up.
There it is.
So, good luck.
All right, guys.
All right,
Good
guys.
night, and go Bills.
Go Bills!
Go Bills. We're all set, guys.
Thanks.
All set. Man, that was fun.